Welcome to the Rig and Farm YouTube channel. In this video, we'll show you the first week in our month-long rental of a skid steer and mini excavator to start clearing our property to make room for fencing and pasture. First, let's take a look at the pigs to see how they're doing. They've been getting big and outgrowing their little food dish, so we got them a second one that is a little larger. This new item in their enclosure was exciting, so they ignored the old dish despite the vacancy and the fact that there was food in it. At least all 5 of them fit a little better in this rectangular dish. The following day, they got some fresh collard greens and cabbage with their breakfast. Prosciutto enjoyed having the round dish to himself, until Morcia scared him off. Guanciale was the only one interested in the veggies this morning. We'll be clearing some more space for the pigs soon, so we need to train them on the polywire fencing before expanding the area they can roam. 2 strands were run across insulators on 5 T-posts within their hog netting with a jumper attached to the netting to complete the circuit. They already know that the white thing hurts and will avoid it, so they shouldn't run through the strands of polywire. Guanciale was curious, but kept her distance. They went to check out the entire length of the polywire that ran to the back of the current fence. We've seen this weird behavior before from a distance, but never up close. Morcia started digging into Luau's ear. He's survived this before, so we weren't worried. See, he's fine. Morcia was finished with Luau and went to check out that polywire again. Apparently the fence works! The blue spruce seedlings are still doing well, with the exception of the pot with fertilizer in it. Ready for a quick lesson on how to operate the skid steer? These are the hydraulic hoses for the grapple. This joystick on the left moves the machine. Push it forward to go forward. Pull it back to go backwards. Right makes you spin to the right, and the left makes you spin to the left. Seems pretty simple, right? The right joystick controls the bucket, or in this case the grapple. Pull it back to lift up, forward lowers it down. Left makes it curl back, and right curls it forward. The little buttons control the auxiliary function of the grapple. The button on the right opens the grapple, and the button on the left closes the grapple. That was the only lesson I was given, so if you've never operated a skid steer before, you're just as experienced as I was when I got stuck in this mud hole within the first 5 minutes. I couldn't get up this hill because it was so slick and I had no idea what to do. Maybe I can cross this little area and knock down the tiny trees. That sounds like a solid plan. This is what it looks like when you get a skid steer stuck in a ditch. Ashley was given instructions on how to operate the excavator while I was busy getting stuck, so she came in an attempt to rescue me. The excavator isn't as fast as the skid steer, but it can actually go much faster than this. She just didn't know how. It took her almost 15 minutes to go about 1,000 feet. Give her a break, it was her first time operating the thing. It's not as intuitive as the tractor, that's for sure. Luckily, the deck wasn't being worked on at the time because the workers would have been blocking her from getting to me. On the other hand, I wouldn't have been able to get down there and get stuck had they been blocking me. Speaking of the deck, that's how it looked in our last video. Stick around until the end of this video to see the deck at the end of the week. They finished construction, so you'll definitely want to check it out. Here she comes! She was trying to pick up the debris in order to make a path for herself to get down to me. It was a bit of a struggle, so she got her dad, who has a few decades of experience, to show us how it's done. He worked on this stump to help clear a path. By removing the dirt around the stump, you can access the roots and crush them in order to loosen the stump and pull it out. He made that look easy. We didn't get any video of him pulling me out of the ditch, and that's probably a good thing. It was a little terrifying. Watch him pull out this huge stump 20 times faster than real time. He and I worked as a team to start clearing the area in the front left of our property, just beyond the gate. He's been using the excavator to remove stumps, and I've been using the skid steer to haul off the stumps to a burn pile using the grapple, and switching to the bucket to fill the holes and do some grading. Look at the size of that thing. This is just one of a few thousand stumps on our property. It took less than 10 minutes. The stump bucket for our tractor would have taken over 2 hours, and the lift capacity of the tractor would have been pushed to the max when attempting to move the stump to a pile. So this equipment rental was well worth the cost. Time for me to do my thing. By the way, this is a two-handed job, and holding a camera makes it a little difficult. When we hit 1,000 subscribers and get monetized, we can invest in a GoPro to wear or mount to the equipment. We've already been using the tractor to pile up debris right here, so we might as well add to the pile with this equipment. We've also been finding lots of rocks. Hopefully we'll find a good use for them. Comment below if you have any ideas for us, because we're swimming in these things. Here are some more stumps to add to the pile. The roots have been doing their job and holding onto the dirt very well. Dirt won't burn, so we have to remove as much as we can before adding to our heap. Raising the arms and rocking the grapple back and forth seems to do a pretty good job of shaking off some of the dirt. Oops! The birds and bunnies have been surprisingly chill with all this activity going on around them. Here's another perspective of the skid steer in action. This first stump I will move in real time, and the subsequent stumps will be sped up 4 times faster. We found some very large rocks over here, so we'll move them to put along the edge of our driveway. The garbage company likes to back into our yard rather than the driveway when turning around. So now they'll either use the driveway or crash into giant rocks. We're fine with either choice. Here's some drone footage from this part of the property that we took about 5 weeks prior to starting the clearing. Our drone is currently out for repair, so we don't have a great way to compare the transformation so far. It's considerably more muddy now, but there are a few dozen less stumps after 3 days of work. Check out that pile! Here's another massive stump that Ashley's dad was able to dig out in about 12 minutes. I thought I could help by putting the stump bucket on the skid steer, but the tip snapped off while working on the second stump. I put the bucket back on and loaded our pallet scraps and some other debris next to the doghouse. Onto the burn pile it goes! We got some stumps out near the birds and filled the holes. That allowed us to move the fence a little and give them some more room. It's pretty easy to tell which area was outside of the fence before we adjusted the position of the poles. Shortly after taking this video, the chickens started rolling around in the dirt to bathe themselves. It was so adorable, but we didn't have much time left in the day to work, so we couldn't stop to get the video. The grapple we have for our tractor is great for getting brush and other small things that easily slip through the grapple on the skid steer. Having all three of these machines on the farm has been great. This video was taken the morning of day 5 with the rental equipment. Here's that same area at the end of the day. There's still a lot of work to do to get the property cleared, that's for sure. We're happy with the progress and we're getting faster and more efficient since the beginning of the week. Now it's time to get an update on that new back deck. This was taken on Thursday afternoon during their lunch break. All of the posts and rails have been installed on the covered part of the deck. The screen door is not installed yet, but at least it's on the deck. 2 sheets of roofing have been secured into place. By the end of the day, they had most of the screen installed. It's held in place with lots and lots of staples. Not too attractive at the moment. All finished. Trim was added to cover all of the staples and edges of the screen, and it looks incredible. The door is installed and matches the rest of the deck really well. We have wide rails that will provide space for some potted herbs and a good place to set down a tasty beverage while grilling or just hanging out outside. We're excited to spend our mornings drinking coffee and evenings grilling and dining on our brand new deck. We still have 3 full weeks with the excavator and skid steer, so plenty more will get accomplished this month. In the beginning of 2022, we will start putting a new fence up for the birds and bunnies that will give them about 2/3 of an acre. It will be our first full year living on the farm, and we're expecting it to be a profitable one. Thank you so much for watching, and we really hope you enjoyed seeing the progress we're making on our property. We'll see you next time!